Honorable Speaker, that I noticed on the order paper we have a lot of Senate bills, and Senate bills be given priority in this chamber. But members here, including myself, have always prepared bills tediously, and they send them to legal teams, and we take a lot of time to ensure that we have prepared bills. But Honorable Speaker, those bills hardly find their way to the floor of the House. But yet, we give a lot of preference to Senate bills, which are actually private members' bills. Private members from Senate get a lot more time in the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, we need to give priority to these members. I remember the 12th Parliament actually prepared very many bills, but only one found its way and it was not even completed. And at the end of the session, Honorable Speaker, this Parliament, you will read a long list of bills that have been prepared by members, over 200, I think it was over 200 last time, which never found their way here. But the bills at the Senate find their way here, and they even have the temerity to want to withdraw them. Honorable Speaker, we need to give members of the National Assembly an opportunity to have a bill in their name passed in this chamber. But if we continue, Honorable Speaker, members will feel discouraged. They will stop legislating and concentrate on oversight and other matters. Honorable Speaker, I beg your view that you need to make a fundamental ruling on which bills get preference in this chamber in terms of private members' bills. Honorable Speaker, I beg. Thank you.
Speaker, I think I must admit that the Mwalimu Omboko Milema has raised a very fundamental issue and also reminded me the trepidation some of us have gone through in the process of presenting bills that come all the way to the floor of the House. Honorable Speaker, I have a living example. My bill went all the way to the second reading and a question was put, and so almost, I think, 4 or so months, it has never found its way in the committee of the whole House. As much as there could be other external forces, indeed, Honorable Speaker, Parliament should be an independent institution. To the point that is switched on and off by external forces that prevent members of bills being progressed, it does not fairly.
Order, Oundo. You are making a very outrageous allegation without evidence. There is no external force that presses buttons on this House. And you know that. Complain of the delay in processing your bill, don't make outrageous allegations against your own House. In fact, you must withdraw those remarks.
I don't want to go in the history like Martin Shikuku. Let me withdraw that particular aspect.
And apologize to the House.
Fine, let me withdraw and apologize because I don't want the Martin Shikuku way. But the fact remains, Honorable Speaker, members are being frustrated.
The good thing is nobody remembers what Martin Shikuku did.
Dr. Kainan can... Dr. Kainan can
inform. But go on.
Honorable Speaker, you must protect the members. You must encourage members. And the only way you can encourage members is to allow members push through their bills to the end. In addition, Honorable Speaker, bills are taking unnecessarily too long to be processed even in our own committees. For example, I don't know if the Budget and Appropriation Committee is overwhelmed by work. You find that some bills stay there for almost 6 months before you are even invited to come and present the bill. Something seriously is not, don't want to say something's wrong, but something is not working the correct way.
You made your point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Bokose.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Oundo knows very well that he appeared last week before the Budget and Appropriation Committee on his bill. And we processed it, and we gave him an opportunity to be able to make his statements, and therefore I think he needs to withdraw. He can't make that kind of remark in the floor.
Yes,
Atandi.
Atandi.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I also would like to associate myself with the sentiments expressed by various members over delay of bills by members and even motions. Honorable Speaker, this is really frustrating. I am a victim. I moved a motion last term. I wasn't able to process it because of delays. Again, in this session, I have also moved 2 motions. They have not been processed here on the floor of the House. Honorable Speaker, I think we need to give priority to motions and bills by members of this House, as opposed to giving priority to those ones from the Senate. Also, Honorable Speaker, I also want to say as Chair of Budget that as at today, there is no bill by members that has not been processed by our committee. The only bill that has not been processed are only 2, and the members were given a chance to appear, but they were busy, they sent apologies, and we agreed with them that we are going to schedule meetings later when they are available. Otherwise, the Budget and Appropriations Committee is working around the clock to ensure that bills that are before us that require approval is processed in time. I want to urge members that if there's any bill that is before us that has not been processed, please feel free to contact me so that we be able to fast track all those bills. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, let us give members bills belonging to our members priority, because those are the bills that really go into our names. And today, members are being castigated that they have not been able to move bills and to make laws in this House. I think this is the time, Honorable Speaker, that even the fact that on Wednesday mornings, we sometimes turn down bills by members to give priority to bills from government. I think it's something that I think as a policy we need to stop it, and so that we can serve members. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, this point was canvassed in the House Business Committee yesterday, raised by Honorable Owen Bayer and supported by the entire committee. We did agree that from now going forward, we are going to give priority to private members' bills. I encourage committees where bills have been held for a little while because of a backlog of work to ensure that the bills are processed quickly and go to the next stage. 2, honorable members, I have directed the clerk's office, after looking at several of the bills that passed through my office, that we have about 3-4 bills touching on the same issue. And there are many where you find 5 members have sponsored different bills trying to amend the same existing statute. I have directed the clerk's office to reach out to members who have sponsored those bills to find a way of amalgamating those bills and still achieve the same intent. Thirdly, I have talked to the leader of majority, and Owen, you are part of the leadership, that we'll get to some point where you lend government time to private members' bills to be prosecuted before this House, because we have an inordinately large number of private members' bills that are pending. I have also been informed that there are many occasions also where members with bills have their bills listed for debate and they don't show up. This has also been happening. So members, if you have your bills, you also have a duty to do a follow-up at the table office and the clerk's office to ensure that they move to the next stage. When they come to House Business Committee, we'll give them utmost priority. I do agree that there is absolutely no sensible reason for you to continue prosecuting bills of private members from your sister house and put your own bills from your private members in abeyance. They must all move together. If anything, you should have yours given priority. And we'll do exactly that. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable members, before we call the next order, allow me to acknowledge in the public gallery Kisii County University Students Association from South Mugirango, Kisii, Osen Mixed Day Boarding Primary School, Day and Boarding Primary School from Baringo North, Baringo. I have been requested by Honorable Maclap. I give you 1 minute, Osoro 1 minute, to welcome the students from your respective jurisdictions. Maclap, there's a mic next to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to join you in welcoming Osen Day and Boarding Comprehensive School. The students in Parliament are the JSS classes of Osen Comprehensive School. And to report to this House, this is one of the best public day boarding primary school in Baringo North. And they have students that have excelled to join various national schools in Kenya. And even this JSS class, we are very optimistic that they will join senior secondary school come next year. I want to encourage the students, this is the House of Parliament. If you work hard, you will be able to join Kenyans who are debating and making laws in this country. And even some of you could be members of Parliament in this particular House. Hussein, bravo, give it up. You are welcome to the House of Parliament together with the children from South Mukirango. You are now together in one place, chambers of the House and the gallery of Parliament, and you will meet as Kenyans going forward. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to join my colleague, the Honorable Maclap, in welcoming all the students in the chambers of Parliament, but particularly the students that have come from South Mugirango constituency. Honorable Speaker, I must confess that I just heard you mention that my students are here, and I'm very happy. But it's the spirit in our people that form Nikujituma. So they've decided to bring themselves here and learn, and it's really quite encouraging. And I want to encourage them to pursue their education, to continue, learning more from those who are ahead of them, to continue, focusing on their future. Honorable Speaker, because these are students from the university, it's important for me to mention, Honorable Speaker, that South Mugirango, by record that we have, Honorable Speaker, we have about 12,000 students so far every year going to the university. So really that is encouraging because the constituency is quite diverse with about 120,000 registered voters. So it's quite encouraging, and we want to tell them to proceed and work very hard in their and focus on their life. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I join both of you in welcoming the students and whoever is accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Call out order number 5 again.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025, in the afternoon sitting. A report of the Auditor General and financial statements of Eldas Technical Vocational College for the year ended 30th June 2023 and certificates therein. B, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2024 and the certificates therein in respect of the following. 1, Chama cha Mashinani. 2, Coast Region Water Security and Climate Resilience Project Credit Number 5543 KE 740 KE State Department for Irrigation. 3, Commission on Revenue Allocation Staff Car Loans Scheme Fund. 4, Commission on Revenue Allocation Staff Mortgage Scheme Fund. 5, Consolidated Fund Services Public Debt, the National Treasury. 6, Devolution Empowerment Party. 7, Kaiboi National Polytechnic. 8, Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development Mortgage and Car Loan Scheme. 9, Cochin Technical Training Institute. 10, Laikipia East Technical and Vocational College. 11, Laikipia West Technical and Vocational College. 12, Meru Technical and Vocational College. 13, Moi Teachers Training College, Baringo. 14, National Council for Children's Services. 15, National Council for Law Reporting. 16, National Government Affirmative Action Fund. 17, Northern Water Works Development Agency. 18, Omuga Technical and Vocational College. 19, Orange Democratic Party. 20, Petroleum Development Levy Fund Holding Account. 21, Receiver of Revenue Statements, State Department for Irrigation and Citizen Services. 22, Revenue Statement of the Business Registration Service. 23, Revenue Statement of the Pensions Department, the National Treasury. 24, Revenue Statements for Department for Internal Security and National Administration. 25, Samburu Technical and Vocational College. 26, Sports Kenya. 27, the Kenya Academy Sports. 28, Tinderet Technical and Vocational College. 29, United Democratic Movement. 30, University of Nairobi Enterprise Limited. 31, University of Nairobi Press Limited. 32, University of Nairobi. 33, Uriri Technical and Vocational College. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, at number 34, Ziwa Technical Training Institute, Wasigishu County. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Next order. Next order. Do we have any petition? Then call out petitions. Where do you call out?
It's papers. Actually, it's next after the leader on the brief.
You guys are confusing me. I'm following what you are doing. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Why do you want to do that? Yes, Chair, Transport.
Honorable Speaker, sorry.
Hold your
consulting with the-
horses. GK, hold your horses. The clerk's documents and what I have are not synchronized. Take your seat. Chairperson, Public Petitions Committee.
Thank you very much.
Kagezi.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 23rd April 2025. Reports of the Public Petitions Committee on its consideration of, number 1, Public Petition number 15 of 2023 by Honorable Florence Jamatia MP regarding the declaration of Mukutani Forest as a public forest. Number 2, Public Petition number 54 of 2023 by teachers regarding unlawful deductions by Teachers Service Commission in favor of Kenya Union of Special Needs Education Teachers, KUSNET. Number 3, Public Petition number 62 of 2023 by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, regarding stagnation of teachers' progression in public service. Number 4, Public Petition number 63 of 2023 by former employees of Bohemian Flowers Limited in Nakuru County regarding the unfair termination. And lastly, Speaker, number 5, Public Petition number 67 of 2023 by Honorable Moses Kirima, MP, regarding the dismissal from employment of Mr. Gerard Muli Kiilu by Absa Bank, formerly Barclays Bank Prestige Center. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Thank you, Kagezi. Next order, order number 6.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable
GK,
Speaker, I beg to give a notice of the following motion, that this House resolves to discharge the second reading of the public transport, that is motorcycle bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2023. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, GK. Next.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Yes, honorable members, we have first, today we were supposed to have the Minister for the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport. I received a letter this morning that the CS is away in China with His Excellency the President for important national business, and is requested that time allowing and subject to the organization of work by the majority leadership, is available to appear next Wednesday or any other day that the Parliament may decide. You will be notified accordingly. So the questions that are listed to the Minister for Roads and Transport will be stayed until then. On the formal order paper, we have no listed statements, but I've been visited by several members who wanted to respond to statements or make statements or request statements. I will allow Dr. Mutunga. I'm not calling you to start yet. Dr. Nyikal, Mandazi, Karemba, Murugara, those are the ones who have talked to me. Don't raise your hand simply because I've said we don't have a list. I'm talking of those who have been like the 5 wise girls in the Bible who came to see the Speaker to ask for an opportunity to raise or make their statements. Let's start with the Honorable Murugara. Note your numbers. When one finishes, another one takes Murugara. After Murugara, Karemba. After Karemba, member for Mogotio, Kiborek. After Kiborek, Mandazi. Then we'll close that chapter with responses from Dr. Nyikal and Dr. Mutunga. Those of you who have got statements and have, I think there's a Boer who also saw me, and have not reached the Speaker, talk to the clerks at the table. Because I'll not allow you to shoot up with a statement that I've neither seen nor approved. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is a response. I think let them request for statements.
Yours is a response?
It's a response.
So start with the turbaned man next to you.
Yes, my neighbor.
Yes.
Yes, the one and only. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health regarding the challenges faced by teachers and police officers in accessing medical services arising from their medical cover. Honorable Speaker, the government-funded medical insurance scheme for teachers and the police in Kenya, which relies on capitation system, has faced significant challenges due to delayed payments to hospitals. This has resulted in hospitals either refusing to provide services to these groups or demanding out-of-pocket payments. The issue is claimed to stem from the government's failure to release allocated funds, despite teachers and police officers being deducted their medical scheme contributions from their salaries. The contributions of teachers and police officers form the bedrock of society stability and progress. To ensure that they fulfill their vital roles in education and public safety effectively, prioritizing their physical and mental well-being is not just a moral imperative, but also a strategic necessity. Honorable Speaker, it is regrettable that teachers and police officers particularly those from Runyenja's constituency and Embu County at large, have expressed serious grievances regarding their medical cover. These concerns highlight systemic issues that require urgent attention, as they affect not only teachers and police officers in Runyenjes and Embu County at large, but also thousands of others across the country. This crisis, marked by hospitals denying them services due to unpaid claims and stalled National Treasury contracts, exposes systemic failures endangering public servants and their dependents nationwide. Addressing these challenges is therefore critical to ensuring that these essential public servants receive the health care they deserve, for them to continue serving our communities effectively. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health on the following challenges. 1. Plans put in place by the ministry to remit the medical capitation funds to hospitals and the timelines for the implementation. 2. Action being taken to ensure that teachers and police officers access unlimited medical services, considering that their contributions are deducted from their salaries consistently. And lastly, efforts being made to address the challenges relating to medical insurance and the health service delivery for public servants, particularly police officers and teachers. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Karemba. It was to which committee?
Departmental Committee on Health.
Dr. Nyikal, can you respond within the first week of resumption from recess?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We will be able to give a report within the first week after recess.
Thank you. Mandazi?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order 259D2, I rise to pay tribute to late Honorable John Koech, a former Member of Parliament for Chepalungu constituency, who passed away on the 8th of April 2025 after short illness. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Koech was laid to rest on the 15th April 2025 in his home in Chepalungu constituency. His life was a shining testament to public service and selfless leadership. He was a statesman of extraordinary humility, reserve, and character. A long-serving Member of Parliament for Chepalungu constituency and a respected cabinet minister, he gave his all to the service of our nation. Notably, Honorable Speaker, he is so far the longest-serving Member of Parliament for Chepalungu, having held the seat from 1979 to 1990, and again from 2003 to 2007. A testament, Honorable Speaker, to the deep trust and enduring bond he shared with his constituents. Honorable Speaker, from his early days under the Kenya African National Union, that is KANU, Honorable Koech distinguished himself as a man of reason and a voice of the people. He rose steadily, propelled not by ambition, but by purpose. His leadership was marked by a deep connection to the people he served, and especially the often overlooked communities of Chepalungu, where he championed development in education, infrastructure, agriculture, and youth empowerment. When he spoke, Honorable Speaker, people listened to him not because he shouted, but because his words carried the weight of wisdom and sincerity. He was a leader who believed that roads should reach to the farmers, that children should sit in classrooms and dream freely, that young people should have a future built on opportunity, not despair. Honorable Speaker, as a Minister for East African Community and Regional Cooperation, Honorable Koech extended his vision beyond our borders. He believed deeply in regional unity and worked tirelessly to build bridges, economic, diplomatic, and cultural between Kenya and our neighbors. His efforts laid the groundwork for stronger regional integration and a shared East African destiny. One of the most defining moments of his political career came in 2002, Honorable Speaker, during the time of great political upheaval. He made the courageous choice to part ways with then the ruling party and stood firmly on the side of change, aligning himself with the National Rainbow Coalition and in then presidential candidate Honorable Mwai Kibaki. That decision, which he led to his expulsion from KANU, was not just political, it was moral. It was a stand for democracy, a bold declaration that the will of the people must always prevail over the convenience of power. Honorable Speaker, beyond politics, the late Honorable John Koech was a diplomat who served the country as the permanent representative at the United Nations Environment Program, that is UNEP, a responsibility he discharged dutifully. In burying the late Honorable Koech, we did not bury his ideals. We planted a legacy. We laid to rest a body, but his spirit of service, of courage, of leadership lives on in lives he touched and institutions he helped build. As we mourn his loss, we draw inspirations from the extraordinary lives and service and dedication to humanity. Allow me, the Speaker, may his soul rest in eternal peace. May his family, the loved ones, find comfort in deeply legacy he leaves behind. Honorable Speaker, allow me to recognize the support that you gave to the family, together with honorable members from this House. We were so privileged as a constituency. And equally, Mr. Speaker, allow me to register the support given to the family by His Excellency the President of the Republic, CS Chirchir, CS Murkomen, and all the support that we got in paying his last respect. I thank all of them on behalf of the family and on behalf of the constituency. Thank you so much, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mandazi. I can see you are very selective. You as truly here also send support to the family. Honorable members, Honorable John Koech served this House with absolute distinction, served the country with distinction, a man of great resolve and principle. We served in cabinet of Mzee Kibaki with him, and he served in various capacities, even in the days when it was difficult for members to say no to the establishment. He did, and his departure leaves this country the poorer. In honor of Honorable Koech, and I did, as your Speaker, send a written message to the family on your behalf as a House. I request us to be upstanding to observe a minute's silence in his honor. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. Yes, Sunguli? Yes, on the same? Okay, let's start with Sunguli. I'll not give many of you. I'll give Sunguli, Karoli.
Mr. Speaker.
And the last governor of Rift Valley.
Mr. Speaker, I also stand in order to give my condolences to the family of John Koech. We served with John Koech in government, and as a friend of his, as a neighboring constituency, I was always privileged to work very closely with him. John Koech was a man who did not always conform. He was, his politics was always different. But he was also in strong competition with people who are of equal stature, like Munai Arab Soy. Mr. Speaker, I must say that the death of Honorable Koech just tells us two things. First of all, that great people actually go. But the second one is that if you look at it very carefully, the reason why we members of parliament must have an insurance to many things is actually very, very important. And you can deduce that from the way he lived and the way he eventually died. It's important that members of parliament look after their security after the House eventually leaves you or when you leave the House. Mr. Speaker, with those remarks, I must say...
Carole Omondi.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to make a small suggestion. I didn't know Honorable Koech, but I think maybe we should have a tradition in the House that when we want to honor a past member, we invite part of the family to be in the gallery. I think that's what I see in other jurisdictions, so that they feel and they understand the appreciation that we are extending to them. I think because maybe Koech's family is not even aware. Yes, thank you.
It's a valid point. Those who prompt the House to honor our departed colleagues, sometimes logistics allowing, we don't mind part of his family in the Speaker's gallery when we are doing so. Yes, Honorable Sirma.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity you have given me. Honorable John Koech served with me in the year 2002, 2007 in this House. Mr. Speaker, I had known John Koech because I was a person following politics from way back until even when he was expelled, Mr. Speaker. And he was a person with a position in what he believes in. Even by being expelled in Kanu, it was about drama of what has happened in the country, and even the change which was required at that time, Mr. Speaker, was John Koech's vision, because he didn't believe in dictatorship. He believed in being a democrat and making things work in this country. Mr. Speaker, when I was with John Koech, unfortunately, we were in the opposition at that time. And John Koech had been appointed by Kibaki into government when he stole some members of KANU.
By President Kibaki.
By President Kibaki. He had stolen some members of KANU at that time to work in government. So they worked together, and unfortunately, when we went for a rally in Bomet sought, we made very serious statements, Mr. Speaker. That is when I was crowned the governor of Rift Valley, because I declared secession of Rift Valley from Kenya. Mr. Speaker, John Koech almost ran away.
You are disclosing a criminal offense.
No problem. I faced it at that time, and I wrote statement, and it was over. So at that time, things were not easy. Mr. Speaker, John Koech was a person who would stand during difficult times. And I know the drama which was there between Isaac Ruto and John Koech before the house in Kabarak. Because one of them was being brought in through the back door and another one going through the school. Because it was big game in Chepalungu constituency. Because Moi was playing the
Give him a minute.
Mr. Speaker, there was a balancing act which was being played on them. And finally, that is when Ruto, also Isaac Ruto, was removed out of parliament, and then John Koech came back again. So, Mr. Speaker, he has faced the difficult times of his life in politics, and also sweet times. Mr. Speaker, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
KJ?
He was dismissed while he was in Badi. You remember?
KJ.
Honorable Speaker, it is on my behalf and on behalf of the people of Dagoretti South constituency that I pass the condolences to the family of John Koech, a consummate leader, and he has served in a life that has left a legacy for his people and for the country. Mr. Speaker, as I pass these condolences, I also want to bring notice to this House that Nairobi City County has just lost a very young, a very passionate leader in the name of MCA for Kariobangi North, Honorable Joel Munuve. Joel Munuve is known to me for many years, Mr. Speaker. He first vied in 2007 when we were part of a big movement, the Gen X revolution. Back then, when we were clamoring for space for young people in leadership, I dare say that our movement was not faceless, it was not leaderless, it was not formless, and some of us ended up taking up positions, some of us in parliament, and people like Joel Munuve have ended up as MCAs in the Nairobi City County. But Mr. Speaker, the death of Honorable Joel Munuve is a curious death, especially at a time when he was raising very pertinent issues about the leadership and the goings-on in City Hall, Mr. Speaker. Only 3 days before his death, the Honorable Joel Munuve dared to first collect signatures for the impeachment of the governor of Nairobi City County. Secondly, he had said that he's going to reveal very damning information about the goings-on in City Hall, Mr. Speaker. So even as we are saying Paul to the family of MCA Joel Munuve, I wish that this House would stand up and call upon the investigative authorities not to gloss over this matter, because this matter might be having very serious interests that go very high up. Mr. Speaker, we would not want to place the blame anywhere. Let that be left to the investigative authorities. All we are asking, Mr. Speaker, is to ensure that the death of Honorable Munuve is investigated to the full and that no stone is left untouched. And let us not imagine that the issues that he was canvassing have no connection to a certain death of a very passionate leader who was serving Nairobi City Council with very good ideas, very reform-minded, transformative, and a seeker for integrity in Nairobi City Hall. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that opportunity, and may his soul rest in eternal peace.
Kiborek. I'm giving you an opportunity to request for your statement.
I know.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order number 44, 2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding a recent attack by armed bandits along the Marigan-Ginyang Road in Baringo County. Honorable Speaker, on 21st April 2025, armed assailants ambushed traders who were en route to Ginyang Market from Mogotio, resulting into a tragic tale of Mr. Philip Kipchirchir and Mr. Peter Kingori, who are both driving to Ginyang Market. One other person sustained injuries during the attack. The victims were accosted in what escalated from a banditry incident to highway robbery with violence in broad daylight. The matter was formally reported to Marigat Police Station under OB number 20-21-04-2025, this attack raised serious concerns about the state of security in Baringo and in the northern part of the country and the Kerio Belt. It has disrupted daily life of the residents in Baringo, affected their economic activities, and caused fear among the residents. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and the Internal Security on the following issues. One, a detailed account of the recent attack and the current status of investigation into the matter, particularly the killing of Mr. Philip Kipchirchir and Peter Kingori, and the progress made in identifying and apprehending those responsible for the killing. Two, Mr. Speaker, the step that the ministry is making to disarm members of the public who own unlicensed and illegal firearms in Baringo and Kerio Belt and northern Kenya. Three, the short-term and long-term measures the government is undertaking to curb recurrent banditry in the region, including thorough vetting of the already existing National Police Reservists, they should be vetted. The National Police Reservists should be vetted, and we should get a statement about the same on the firearm which they were given without proper training like the police. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I beg to ask from the Departmental Committee on National Administration and Internal Security on statement on the same. Thank you.
Russell, I don't see your chairman. Can you do so? Are you able to do so on Wednesday next week, being a security issue, or you do it after recess?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with your facilitation, we were able to provide this House with a very detailed report. And currently, the area that is experiencing a lot of problem is Baringo. While in most of the regions, Turkana, Samburu, Isiolo, Marsabit, the guns are largely silent. Honorable Speaker will be able to give report to the House immediately after the recess. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. In addition to that, Honorable Kiborek and your colleagues from Baringo, yourself, Maklap, Kamket, Musa Sirma, Chematia, Kandie, and Kamren, your leaders, you are going on recess. Go around your county and talk to those young people and encourage them to stop wielding illegal firearms. It is those young men who vote for you. It is those young men who you use for good and for bad. Go and meet them and talk to them so that as leaders you also play your role to ensure that there is peace within your jurisdiction. And I'm sure you can. Some of those young men are your age, Kiborek. And I'm sure you can use your magic as a youth to get to them and talk to them. Your access to them is better than probably Musa Sirmas and others. Please go and do that. Don't wait for the police to come from Nairobi. You can also play your part. Yes, Sirma?
Mr. Speaker, we take your statement very seriously, and we want to promise that we shall do as said on behalf of all the members who are even here and those who are not here. We shall endeavor to make sure that we clean up what is the mess within Baringo. Thank you.
Thank you. Make sure you include Kamket. Abor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee regarding the status of implementation of the government's directive to securitize a portion of the road maintenance levy. Honorable Speaker, the government, through the Ministry of Roads and Transport, advised the Kenya Roads Board to initiate the securitization of part of the road maintenance levy, RMLF, amounting to Kenya shillings 7 per litre. This directive was aimed at raising urgent funds to settle the mounting pending bills in the road sector, which have continued to stall key infrastructure projects across the country. Honorable Speaker, while the securitization of future cash flows can be a viable financing mechanism under the Public Finance Management Act 2012, Cap 412A, and specifically Section 50 on public debt management, the implementation of such a strategy must be carried out transparently within the framework of public finance principles enshrined in Article 201 of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010. Other principles include openness, accountability, and responsible financial management that must be applied on the securitization proposal. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the following. Number one, the current status of implementation of the securitization of the road maintenance levy fund as directed by the government. Number two, the legal and financial framework being used to implement this securitization process, and whether there was approval of Parliament sought as required under Section 52 and 53, Cap 412A of the Public Finance Management Act, where future revenue streams are pledged. Number three, amount expected to be raised through this securitization arrangement and the criteria that will be used to allocate these funds towards spending bills in the road sector. Number four, any guarantees or circulars issued by the National Treasury in connection with the securitization transactions and the implications on public debt ceilings and fiscal sustainability. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, timelines set for the disbursement of the raised funds and measures taken to ensure transparency and accountability during the implementation. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Budget, that is to your committee. Can you bring a response the first week upon resumption from recess?
Yes, Speaker, we agree.
Thank you. Murugara George.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this morning, Honorable David Kiplagat, the Member of Parliament for Soy, requested for a statement regarding the venue for recruitment of Kenya Prisons constables of Soy constituency in Uasin Gishu.
Is he in the house?
He is not here.
Okay, go on.
I actually sent to him the communication I got.
Go ahead.
Because I was told actually to deliver tomorrow afternoon. But fortunately, it has actually come from the Director General of Prisons to confirm how it is going to be in Uasin Gishu County as follows. The recruitment will be conducted in the following sub-counties. Trubo sub-county, it's pronounced Tarabo sub-county, Paul Boyd Boys High School at 8 a.m. on the 30th of April 2025. Soy sub-county, DCC's office Sirikwa at 2 p.m. Ainabkoi, Waoni 4 Stadium at 8 a.m. Moiben constituency at Moiben Center at 2 p.m. Keses, DCC's office Keses at 8 a.m. and Kapseret at Eldoret ASK Showground at 2 p.m. Honorable Speaker, there was also a question regarding missing sub-counties, and these members have interest in that because a few sub-counties are missing from the list, including one of my sub-counties in the Tharaka constituency known as Tharaka West. The answer I have received is that they are actually working on this to actualize the fact that all these sub-counties that are missing will be included in the recruitment exercise. And as soon as letters are produced to confirm this, they will be delivered to us for further communication to the honorable members of Parliament. This communication is signed by Patrick M. Arando, CBS, Commissioner General of Prisons. And to ensure that we have it on record, I pray that I actually table it. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Dr. Mutunga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to respond to a statement by Honorable Eric Karemba, CBS MP and member for Runyenjes. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 44-2C, Honorable Eric Karemba, CBS MP, requesting for a statement on the 11th of March 2025 regarding high cost of feeds. The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development responded as follows to the issues raised in the statement. The Honorable Karamba wanted to have the statistics of milk production in Runyenjes constituency and the Embu County in general. Honorable Speaker, according to the report from the Ministry, Embu County produces 101,347,503 kilos of milk annually. Manyata constituency produces 47,531,820 kilos. Runyenjes produces 32,850,269 kilos of milk. Bere South produces 15,121,880 kilos, and Bere North produces 5,843,534. The second issue that the Honourable Member was seeking to be informed on, Honourable Speaker, is the measures being put in place to decrease the cost of animal feeds are required for the dairy farming. And the response is as follows. The first issue is National Animal Feeds Development Strategy by the Ministry. The government has embarked on development of an animal feeds, has developed an animal feeds development strategy to address feed situation in the country, in which it prioritizes promotion of increased production of animal feeds, promotion of animal forage conservation, use of technologies such as irrigation to facilitate production of animal feeds in arid and semi-arid areas, as well as in arid and semi-arid areas, among others. Increase in production will ensure availability of adequate forage and constitute feed ingredients, which will in turn reduce the cost of animal feeds. The second measure that the Ministry is taking up is land commercialization initiative. The government is availing an unutilized land for animal feed production through the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. The land is available for both local and international investors, and the land will be used for production of feeds to ensure availability and reduce the cost of livestock feeds. It will commercialize pastures and fodder production for distribution to farmers. The government land, such as that held by the Agricultural Development Corporation, Kenya Agriculture and Livestock Research Organization, and livestock farms and former livestock holding grounds, will be utilized for this purpose. The third measure that the government is the Ministry is taking up, is public-private partnership in feed production. Madam Speaker, the government is encouraging public-private partnership to ensure that there is sufficient investment in the livestock feed sector. For the last 2 years, the government has participated in international conferences in Rome and other countries where it has pitched for feasible investment options in animal feed industry. As a result, several investors have already arrived in the country to invest, a key among them including the following. One is Heuse Animal Feeds, a Dutch-based company who are investing a total of 300 million Kenya shillings to produce 200,000 metric tons of feed annually in a modern feed milling factory at the river, and the factory is set to open later in the year. Madam Speaker, the other one is the government has also signed an MOU with the United Arab Emirates based in Al Dahra company, United Arab Emirates company based in it's called Al Dahra company, which will lease and manage up to 200,000 acres of irrigated farmland in the Galana Kulalu Ranch, with an estimated investment of up to $800 million. The other measure that the ministry is taking, the government is taking, is duty waiver for importation of raw materials for processing of animal feeds. Honourable Speaker, the government has made deliberate effort to allow duty-free importation of animal feed supplements and ingredients, particularly the enzymes, amino acids, and protein concentrates, in order to lower the overall cost of animal feed. The duty waiver addresses the problem.
How much more to go, Dr. Mutunga?
1.5 pages, maybe 3 minutes.
Yes, finish quickly.
Okay.
Honourable Speaker, the government has also deliberately incentivized capital investment in animal feed manufacturing and livestock production through similar duty waivers to enhance local production and also value addition. The fourth measure is promotion of alternative and sustainable feed ingredients. This basically recognizes the reliance on important ingredients, and therefore local production is prioritized in this particular case. So the government is exploring for possibilities for additional sources of proteins, which include alternatives such as fish and soya beans, and this further reduces the protein source of the animal feed, which is not in competition with the human beings. And the seventh one is investment in, the sixth one is investment in capacity building on feeds, where the government is basically training or building capacity for farmers to be able to make their own rations, which is called home in ration, and this is spreading across the country. And the final measure that the government is taking, is implementing, is partnership with the other stakeholders in form of programmatic arrangement. We have several projects within the ministry, such as the National Value Chain Development Support Program and the Food System Resilience Program, which are covering all the counties, there are 47 of them, and these are aimed at availing animal feed at lower cost. The third issue that the honourable member wanted clarification on is the initiatives being put in place to enhance milk production in the country. Honourable Speaker, the initiatives are as follows. I've basically mentioned them and briefly elaborate. One of them is enhancing production of livestock feeds to improve dairy feeding. That I have already gone into. I don't need to allude to it anymore. The other one is improving the quality and safety of the feed itself, where the ministry or the government came up with a legislation, which is the Kenya Fertilizer and Animal Feeds Act, Cap 345, that is being implemented currently to ensure that animal feeds are available, which are safe and also cheap. The third one is improving dairy genetics, and this is important, Honourable Speaker. On improving the genetics, the government has set up an additional semen production unit at ADC Endebess in Kitale. And this is under, and then the other one is the one at Kabete, Lower Kabete, which is the Kenya Animal Genetics Resource Center. The two of them are producing semen, and this semen has also been supported by a distribution system whereby there is production of liquid nitrogen in various parts of this country. And liquid nitrogen on our speaker centers are including the one in Eldoret, there's another one in Meru, another one in Kirinyaga and Kaimosi. These are supplementary centers where you can get liquid nitrogen, and therefore you can get semen stored for a very long time. The other initiative is also having a sexed semen production unit, where the government has invested in an equipment to have sexed semen, and it is possible for Kenyans to get semen to produce AFAs at affordable rates, or female calves. The second last initiative on our speaker is capacity building of farmers and other stakeholders, where various initiatives have been put in place to enable the Kenyan farmers to produce better milk, more milk, and clean milk for that matter at affordable rates. And the final one is implementation of key donor-funded projects that basically include the one I mentioned earlier and others that have got an entire country coverage to enable the Kenyan farmers to improve on the quality of the animals themselves in order to improve on the quality and the amount of milk that is produced. Honourable Speaker, I do submit.
Thank you, Mtunga. Karemba.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Well, I wish to appreciate the effort made by the Chair in responding to my issue. Honourable Speaker, I would wish to mention and make it clear to the Chair that there lies a huge potential in this country on the area of dairy production. And I would wish that the committee and ourselves also follow up to ensure that we exploit the benefits that we can get from the dairy farmers, because we have a huge demand for milk and products from dairy milk. And I believe that it is only if the government would go into ensuring that the feeds are not as costly as they are currently. Recently, Honorable Speaker, we witnessed a high or rather a spirited campaign to have mass vaccination of animals, and that was targeting the beef, or rather the livestock that is reared for beef. But mostly, if you go to our region, which is in Embu, you will find that we have many cows which are were not reared for beef but for dairy. And I believe that whereas we are not opposed to the mass vaccination, we believe that there is also enormous potential in the dairy sector, and we would get a lot of help if the animal feeds can cost lower. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
There's nothing to respond to Mutunga. He has just complimented what you said. Dr. Nyikal?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In response to a request for statement by Honorable Anna Kainan, CBS MP, before the Departmental Committee on the status of Kalaza outbreak in Wajir County. Honorable members, I wish to bring to the attention of this House the current situation regarding the outbreak of Kalaza, also known as visceral leishmaniasis in Wajir. Kalaza is a life-threatening parasitic disease caused by a parasite. It is transmitted through the bite of infected sandflies and remains a serious public health concern, particularly in Kenya's northeastern, Rift Valley, and eastern regions. If left untreated, the disease has a fatality rate of 95%. Common symptoms include prolonged fever, weight loss, diarrhea, fatigue, anemia, darkening of the skin, swollen glands, and enlargement of the spleen and liver. Kalaza status in Wajir County. Kenya has, over the past 6 years, consistently reported between 500 and 1,300 cases of Kalaza annually, largely concentrated in 11 endemic counties. Since September 2024, however, a significant surge in reported cases has been observed in Wajir County emerging as the epicenter. To date, Wajir has recorded 672 confirmed cases, the highest among affected counties. Of these, 85% of patients have been successfully treated and recovered. 11% are undergoing treatment, and tragically, 29 lives have been lost, representing a case fatality of 3.8%, which means out of 1,000 people, 38 people have died. The most affected sub-counties are Wajir East, Wajir West, and Elders. Currently, 86 cases are on treatment across the various sub-county health facilities. In Wajir County Referral Hospital, 55 cases, Grift Sub-County Hospital, 22, Elder Sub-County Hospital, 8, and Bule Sub-County Hospital, 1. Leishmaniasis transmission in the affected region is predominantly driven by the presence of and proliferation of a sandfly known as Phlebotomus, which thrive in arid and semi-arid areas commonly found in northern Kenya. Human infections typically occur when individuals are exposed to these vectors while residing or moving in those endemic areas, particularly near termite mounds, animal shelters, and cracks in walls in abandoned buildings. The risk of infection and disease is severely and significantly heightened by underlying vulnerabilities like malnutrition, weakened immunities, comorbidities like people who are infected with diseases like HIV, and delayed health-seeking behavior. The disease disproportionately affects marginalized populations living in remote, underserved areas where access to timely diagnosis and treatment is limited. Environmental and socioeconomic factors further exacerbate the outbreak. These include poor housing conditions that offer little protection against sandfly, water scarcity, and increased population mobility. displacement due to conflict or climatic factors. Additionally, low community awareness combined with high levels of cross-border movement complicates surveillance, control, and case management. Without sustained multi-sectoral interventions, including vector control, early detection, and continuous health system strengthening, the risk of recurrent outbreaks and higher mortality remains significant. Intervention undertaken in Wajir so far. Honorable members, in response to the outgoing Kalaza outbreak in Wajir County, the government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the World Health Organization and other partners, has activated a multi-sectoral coordinated public health response, meaning including many sectors. The ministry deployed a multidisciplinary team led by their field epidemiology team to conduct rapid field investigations and case management. To bolster frontline capacity, they have trained over 30 healthcare workers in diagnosis, treatment, and case management of leishmaniasis across the 4 affected centers. This is complemented by continuous medical education targeted on the job mentorship and training on case-based surveillance reporting through health information systems aimed at improving the data accuracy and timelines. To support the diagnostics and treatment, the Ministry of Health has distributed 768 boxes of a rapid diagnostic test, 850 vials of sodium stibogluconate, 1,900 vials from paromycin, 840 vials of ambisome. Those are actually the 3 drugs that are used in the treatment. An additional 200 test kits and 400 more vials of drugs were also procured using supplementary funds. Furthermore, in collaboration with the partners such as World Health Organization and Medicines Sans Frontières, the ministry coordinated the delivery of these critical health products and technologies to Wajir County to ensure uninterrupted availability of essential diagnostic and treatment supplies for the affected population. To strengthen inpatient cases, 100 hospital beds and mattresses were distributed to improve the quality of care and comfort in the treatment facilities. Importantly, 3 mobile laboratory units were deployed in the most affected sub-counties to facilitate timely diagnosis, treatment, and on-site data collection. In addition to these medical efforts, the ministry launched comprehensive vector control activities aimed at mitigating the spread of leishmaniasis by targeting sandfly vector responsible for the disease transmission. To this end, the ministry procured 50 farm guard masked duster machines, 150 Omni pumps, and 141 two-stroke engine sprayers. Basically, these are actually for spraying in the environment and spraying inside the houses. And also 1,000 sachets of insecticides for the same. These integrated vector management strategies are crucial to reducing vector density and lowering transmission. Also, on the long term, the ministry has continued in the recognition of the current nature of visceral leishmaniasis, the broader and more resilient public health systems in the ministry has initiated long-term measures aimed at sustaining progress and preventing future outbreaks. These include a national strategic plan. They've also provided resources through the supplementary budget, and this has been useful in containing the outbreak. Honorable members, looking forward, the ministry has worked out a plan with KEMSA distribute the required drugs and equipment in the affected areas. And also, Mr. Speaker, in the long term, Kenya Medical Research Institute has played a central role and will continue to play a central role to actually monitor the disease outbreak, monitor responses for a long. This is not only for the regions affected, but for the country as large. So the ministry remains available to provide any further clarification that this Honorable House may require. Signed by the Honorable Minister Aden Duale, ECG, EGA, Cabinet Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kainan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the answer given by the chair is comprehensive. But as usual, Mr. Speaker, most of it is theoretical. The Kalaza outbreak, Mr. Speaker, is not a matter of yesterday. It has been there for years. And I'm sure in your other lives, even as a lawyer, as a magistrate, you know what happens in that particular area. Every year we are being told there is a strategic plan. Something is being done. Mr. Speaker, if we look at even the answer, 95% of all the Kalaza reported cases actually are fatal. 2 Wajir alone has over 762 cases. Ideally, it means it's something that we know health is devolved. But equally, Mr. Speaker, we also know that most governors, most county governments are also not prepared for this critical function. Therefore, it behoves upon the national government, notwithstanding this as a critical county function, to be always ready and be prepared to attend to these innocent people when they are infected by this Kalaza, these sandflies. Mr. Speaker, this has happened. It has happened many years ago. It has happened last year. It's happening this year. Ideally, by now, we should have a rapid response team at the Ministry of Health headquarters that will always be ready actually to attend to any part that faces this challenge. So what urgent measures are you putting in place, or the ministry putting in place, to make sure such outbreaks don't recur again to any other part of the Republic of Kenya?
Thank you. Dr. Nyikal, what urgent measures?
According to this report, Mr. Speaker, they actually have a team, an epidemiology team, that is actually who actually respond. And this case, actually, they responded, and they started by actually training people, and that involved the county health workers. That's according to the report, and also purchase of the drugs and the test kits that were required, and also purchase of the equipment that is needed to spray both in the houses and also in the environment where people live. So those are really the measures that I could see in this report they have taken.
Honorable members, before the next order, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's gallery Pare Council of Elders led by Mzerama Lukindo from Taveta constituency, Taita Taveta County. Musimame, mushangiliwe. Asante sana. Munakaribishwa katika jumba la bunge na mkae kwa starehe na fasaha. Yes, Bwire.
Honorable Speaker, Article 56 of the Constitution.
Si usungumuze Kiswahili, wageni wako wakusikie.
Asante, Mheshimiwa Speaker. Mheshimiwa Spika, kifungu cha 56 cha katiba ya Kenya ya mwaka 2010 inatoa mwelekeo kwamba serikali itafanya mipango ya kutambua jamii ndogo Kenya, na hiyo mipango itaongeza mambo ya utawala, mambo ya kazi, mambo ya kutambua mila zao na desturi zao. Mheshimiwa Spika, nakumbuka ukija kwa constituency yangu mwaka 2023, wazee hawa ambao wako mbele yako leo walikueleza kwamba wangetamani sana watambulike kama moja ya kabila la Kenya. Nakumbuka fika, Mheshimiwa Spika, ulieleza hiyo siku kwamba kuchelewa kwa kutambulishwa kwao ni kinyume cha katiba, na kwamba kama jamii zingine, kama jamii ya Wasomali kwa mpaka wa Somali na Kenya, kama jamii ya Waljaluo katika mpaka wa Kenya na Tanzania sehemu za Mwanza, kama jamii ya Wakuria kwa mpaka wa Kenya na Tanzania, pia Wapare ambao wako kwa mpaka wa Kenya na Tanzania kule Taveta watambulike. Leo hii Mheshimiwa Spika, nakuja hapa kutoa shukrani kwa niaba ya kamati ya wazee wa Kipare na kwa niaba ya jamii ya Wapare ambao wanaishi Taveta na sehemu zingine za Kenya, na kwa niaba ya eneo bunge la Taveta kukushukuru Mheshimiwa Spika na kushukuru bunge hili la kitaifa kwa kuwapatia nafasi kuleta malalamishi yao bungeni leo. Wamesikilizwa na wamepatiwa uhakikisho kwamba petition yao itaenda kuangaliwa na itahakikishwa. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, niseme tu jambo moja nikiketi. Mwaka 2022 mmoja wa jamii hii alikuwa amependekezwa kuwa nominated councillor kwa chama cha Wiper, member of county assembly kwa chama cha Wiper. Hiyo nafasi ikachukuliwa, na baada ya kwenda kotini, koti ikasema kwamba kwa sababu Wapare wanatambulika kama stateless, basi wao sio minority, na kwa hivyo waliwekwa vibaya kwa ile kategori ya minority tribe. Kwa hivyo hatua hii ambayo imechukuliwa na bunge la kitaifa leo ni hatua ya kipekee sana, na nataka nichukue nafasi hii kuwashukuru Mheshimiwa Spika na kuwashukuru wajumbe wenzangu kwa kuwapatia Wapare nafasi ya kufika kwao bunge leo. Wengine wao wameniambia hawajawahi kutambulika kwa bunge la kitaifa, na hata kuwatambua leo. Mheshimiwa Spika, asante na Mwenyezi Mungu aendelee kukubariki. Asante sana.
Asante Mheshimiwa Bwire. Mheshimiwa wa Kisauni.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, pia mimi kunipa fursa hii kutilia nguvu swala la ndugu yetu Mheshimiwa Bwire. Pia mimi niwapongeze wazee wa Kipare waliopata nafasi ya kufika katika bunge hili, na pia nitie mkazo na nguvu kwamba waweze kutambuliwa, kwa sababu kule chini wanapata shida kubwa, kuanzia wao wazee mpaka watoto wao. Inakuwa hata shule za msingi siku hizi mpaka wana stakabadhi ya kuzaliwa ndio uweze kusajiliwa kama mwanafunzi. Inakuwa ni vigumu kwa watoto wao, wajukuu zao, na hawa ni jamii ambayo wako wa Kenya, ni Kenya, hakuna mahali ingine wanaishi. Wanaweza kuwa wako upande wa Tanzania, lakini wako wale Wapare ambao ni wa Kenya, ambao tuko nao paka maeneo bunge ya Kisauni na sehemu zingine. Kwa hivyo mimi Mheshimiwa Spika, pia nasimama hapa kwamba kutilia nguvu watambuliwe kwa haraka kama jamii za Kipemba, watambuliwe walivyotambuliwa, na wale waliobaki waendelee kutambuliwa, bora wako Kenya, ili kusudi waweze kuajiriwa, waweze kufanya mambo yote ambayo yanatikana kama raia anavyofanya. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nimesimama kuunga mkono na kusisitiza kwamba hili jambo lichukuliwe kwa haraka ili wasiweze kupata tabu na adhabu wanaoendelea kupata. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Owen Baya.
Honorable Speaker, allow me to express myself best in English. I want to address a broader issue, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say this, Honorable Speaker. As a country, we must end.
Yes, Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to protest very strongly at the attempt by Honorable Baya to speak in English when it is people like Honorable Millie Odhiambo, that is Kiswahili si mdomo chao, that cannot speak Kiswahili today. But when he's here, Mr. Speaker, we would like to sit here and get mesmerized and to learn and to be experts. When we get such an opportunity, can he at least speak Kiswahili so we learn? When we were in primary school, Mr. Speaker, my school, we spoke English throughout in primary school, except Wednesdays, when we were told to speak in Kiswahili. The school went very silent on Wednesdays. Mr. Speaker, I'd want to remember my primary by being quiet today and partaking of the knowledge in Kiswahili. So could you please declare him out of order so that he speaks in Kiswahili?
Mr. Speaker, I'm not an expert at mesmerizing people. And allow me to tell the Honorable Millie, I can express myself best the way I would like to. Honorable Speaker, we must end statelessness in this country. Stateless must be ended. Yes. Stateless is actually a position where you belong nowhere. And it is one of the greatest sufferings in the world, not to belong to a state. Honorable Speaker, we have salvaged the Makonde, we have salvaged the Shona, the Pemba, the Pare, the Rundi, and the Rwandese that are still in this country require an affirmative action. We solved the Makonde problem. We still have a problem with the Nubians because of their code. We have a problem with the Watha, and the Sanya. We still have issues, Honorable Speaker. But as a country, we should be in the forefront to solve the issue of statelessness. I have pushed a bill, Honorable Speaker, in this House that has taken inordinately too long to actually finish, to solve the whole issue of statelessness. And if given an opportunity, I believe this Parliament, the 13th Parliament, should be in record to finish statelessness. And we have a president who is not averse to these issues. I think when he came to Kilifi to give the Pemba citizenship, he was very categorical. Let Parliament do its work to ensure that we have a law that does not allow a Kenyan who is discriminated by virtue of being stateless. Honorable Speaker, I have seen stateless people suffer. You can't register a SIM card, you can't have a bank account, you can't even marry, legally, because you are stateless. You cannot even own children, have children of your own, registered in your name. Those are some of the vagaries that come with being stateless. These Pare people deserve to be Kenyans and belong to the state Kenya. Honorable Speaker, let's use the opportunity that we have as leaders to ensure that we end stateless, and this is a group, and this is a tribe, and this is a community that must be given the due respect by being called Kenyans by virtue of registration and being Kenyans.
Minority Leader.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, first I want to congratulate Honorable Bwire for taking this bold step of bringing people who are marginalized and minorities in his constituency. Mr. Speaker, this is what real representation is. Mr. Honorable Bwire, congratulations for the work you've done. This is how you present your people, by especially taking care of the minorities. But having said...
They are worse than minorities, they are stateless.
They are stateless, actually. You are right, Mr. Speaker. They're even worse than minorities. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, people only realize the fruits of their right, enjoyment of a right, when you lose it. Mr. Speaker, there are people also in this country who face a lot of discrimination in terms of even acquiring Kenyans who are unable to acquire national documents like national identity card and passport. Mr. Speaker, I am shocked. I am shocked when I saw a governor in this country, in this Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, shouting at the top of his voice from somewhere in Mount Elgon or somewhere there in Trans Nzoia, saying some Kenyans should not be given the identity cards. Mr. Speaker, I came to realize the training of a person is very important in life. And the way I'm getting trained in this house, Mr. Speaker, is what has made me serve the people. Mr. Speaker, some of the people who have gone through the provincial administration, who have served in that region of northern Kenya, Mr. Speaker.
I started training you when you were a councillor.
Kabisa, Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
in Malakisi. You took me to Malakisi
Yes.
in 2005 so that I can interact with the public, you remember. Mr. Speaker, a whole governor stands in his place addressing a gathering of Kenyans saying that other Kenyans must be discriminated against. Mr. Speaker, I know the governor was a former PC or a former DC, and I know the culture that goes on when you are especially posted to northern Kenya, where you have to be paid for you to give somebody's identity card. And that's how some of them have made their money, Mr. Speaker. That is a colonial mentality. That man does not deserve to lead anybody in Kenya, Mr. Speaker. It is very, very heartening, Mr. Speaker. Disheartening. He does not even be a village elder, Mr. Speaker. When you can come openly and say that certain Kenyans should not be given an ID because they are bordering another country. Even him is running a county that is bordering Uganda. Shame on him. Shame on him. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know that community is discriminating against live in Trans Nzoia, Mr. Speaker. And you know you are their leader, Mr. Speaker. You come from there also. I can assure you they will never vote for him again. He has lost those votes. His name is Honorable Nakimbia or Nakimbia. Nakimbia too. He's just running everywhere, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was taken aback, Mr. Speaker. I know what discrimination people go through in that region. There are many children in northern Kenya who have finished schooling, they have finished colleges, they have finished universities, they cannot get employment because they don't have an ID. They cannot even get admission to university because they don't have an ID. That is the kind of leaders nowadays we have in Kenya, who is openly saying in a public forum that let us discriminate against this community. And you are calling yourself a governor who is supposed to be leading a multi-society, multi-ethnic, multi-religious county, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is where I know tomorrow he'll be shouting in a burial there in Bukusola and in Trans Nzoia, abusing me. I don't care. This is where I will speak. People of Suna, who I represent, who include Luos, Koreas, Subas, Somalis, lawyers, Guerilla, everybody have told me to speak here and tell that governor that he's wrong. He cannot discriminate against other Kenyans. Who is he, Mr. Speaker? What the hell does he think he is? Keep on, talking open. And I don't know why NCIC is no longer functioning. I thought the first person they will arrest or they will summon is that governor, that rogue governor. Is actually the rogue governor. Yes. Mr. Speaker, bordering another county does not mean you must be discriminated against. How many counties border other countries? Mandera borders another country. Busia borders another country. Where I come from, Migori, borders Tanzania. Narok borders Tanzania. Trans Nzoia borders Uganda. Kwale borders Tanzania. That does not mean that you have to discriminate against Kenyans who are staying in those counties. If he's fearing that that community is going to have numbers in the next election and they may vote for in a certain way, let him tell his community to give more birth to more children. Mr. Speaker, I am taken aback, and I'm going to bring a petition, by the way, to discuss that matter in this House. Mr. Speaker, a national leader who is running a county, I repeat again, that's multi-ethnic, multi-religion, denomination. Mr. Speaker, that cannot be left. I saw the other day in some burial I attended, not at some burial, the burial of my speaker's mother, talking a lot of things. I could not even respond to him. I just kept quiet. When I remembered what he said from the community that I come from ancestrally, I just looked at him and said, this is the guy who wants to deny my people ID cards. This is the guy who wants to discriminate against other Kenyans. This is the guy who wants other Kenyans to be called non-Kenyans. And he used to be a former regional ward, where if we start talking about what happened even under his leadership in the Rift Valley, Mr. Speaker, we'll be speaking here all day. People were tortured. People were killed. Houses were burnt in the Mau Forest. People were removed from Mau Forest at night. Their homes burnt. Everything done. People died. And he still has the audacity to tell everyone who cares that, oh, you're a stupid man. I can talk whatever I want. You cannot discriminate against other Kenyans and you expect us to keep quiet. We will not do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I will say what I've said on this floor of the House, outside the House, and I will go even to Trans Nzoia in Kitale Town and say it. Those very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Karole Omondi.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Let me take the opportunity to congratulate Mheshimiwa Honorable Bwire for the bold step of bringing the people of Pare ancestry to the National Assembly. I think as leaders, our job is to find solutions. That is why we are here. We can ventilate, we can say as much as we want, but if we don't offer solutions, then I don't think we are rendering the service that we are expected to do. On these two issues, we already have a solution which I've already proposed and which is being processed by the help of the Speaker and the Clerk. On the issue of the Pares and the other stateless, I've already proposed a bill, Kenya Citizenship and Immigration Bill, which will create a new category of acquiring citizenship by ancestry in terms of historical connection, lineage, affinity, consanguinity, and we'll also implement the right of return for all Africans who are exported out of Africa. So that is a solution. What this House should do is to support that. The second thing, the idea of IDs. Already I've proposed a bill, Registration of Persons Amendment Bill, that will enable students to get ID cards and voter cards while they are still in school. This afternoon, we reiterated what we said in Naivasha, that we should prioritize members' bills. All these solutions are amongst us here. It is up to us to actualize the solutions. So I would plead and give the Wapare people assurance that at least in this House, there'll be a solution. They'll not be stateless. We will pass this bill and they will get the citizenship. In fact, I know Wapares very well. There's a famous joke in Tanzania, not to demean anybody, but they like to say, you know, my mother was from there. If you have money and you want to send it to your mother in the village, if you give it to Ampare, it will get to your mother. If you give it to Amchaga, it will not get there. But if you have a beautiful sister-in-law and you ask Amchaga to escort her to your mother, she will reach there. With Wapare, she will not reach. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Benja.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Chukua dakika moja moja.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, let me first of all welcome the guests in your gallery, Mr. Speaker. And I think their visit will go down in history as having brought the necessary changes in this republic. Mr. Speaker, to be a stateless person is the worst discrimination that you can ever be. Mr. Speaker, I'm talking as a former ambassador of Kenya to the Republic of Namibia. And Mr. Speaker, sometimes you find Kenyans who have found themselves in another country without the necessary documents. And the treatment they get, Mr. Speaker, is very bad. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the comments made by my colleagues. I also have a community from Rwanda who were brought a long time ago, Mr. Speaker, to come and plant tea in Kericho. And because of one or two reasons, Mr. Speaker, they have found themselves in Kenya, but they are facing discrimination. They cannot get IDs. They have actually been forced to change their names, Mr. Speaker, so that they can fit in.
Farah Maalim.
Mr. Speaker, I want to add my voice into the issue of statelessness and discrimination in our country. Mr. Speaker, you started your legal career way back in the early 80s, and you used to travel all the way to Northeastern Province. And you remember the kind of discrimination that was there. where a DC or a DO is a judge, he's a magistrate. You'll be arrested by his administration police officers, and then you are brought before a DO to sentence you now on the charges that were preferred against you by the people he sent you. Mr. Speaker, we have seen a lot in this country. I myself, in 1980, when I was going to go out, give me another 5 minutes, Speaker. Yes. When I was supposed to travel out of the country, I was supposed to fill a form called P7 for me to get a passport. And it says to be filled by non-indigenous Kenyans like Asians, Arabs, and Somalis. Now, when you tell the residents of Wajir and Garissa and Mandera are non-indigenous, who is the indigenous community to Mandera or Wajir? Are they Kikuyus? Are they Luos? Are they Luyas? Are they Subas? And you claim, and you claim these people, this is part of Kenya. You're not saying that these are Somalis, let them go to Somalia. Mr. Speaker, it's good for us to understand history. And Millie remembers this very.
Give him 1 minute. Finish up.
Mr. Speaker, the DRC has suffered more than 6 million people dead. That problem started with the Banyamulenge, if you remember very well, when Mobutu Sese Seko said, you are not Zairwa, you are not Congolese. Go to Rwanda because you look like the Tutsis of Rwanda. And they went to war. And that war is still going on right now. The M23 you're hearing about is as a result of the problem that started that time. 100,000 people who are discriminated can destroy a nation of 60 million. Wapare don't have any other country. Let them be given their citizenship. Let's protect our country and our nationals. Because nobody is going to accept to be discriminated against. Natembeya belongs somewhere else. He does not belong to Kenya, by the way. And his ideas are crooked. Awacha akimbia mahali ingine. Atoke hapa.
Mayaka, 1 minute.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa fursa hii ili nijiunge na wabunge wenzangu kuwakaribisha wenzetu kutoka Pare katika bunge hili na kuwahimiza wajisikie huru, wajisikie nyumbani. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, kama bunge tunajiunga mkono pia kuwakataza wale ambao wanataka kuwabagua wenzetu ambao wametoka katika sehemu za mpaka na kuwashurutisha na kueleza ya kwamba wengine wao ambao ni viongozi katika kata ama kwa vile mnavyosema kwa county wanafaa kuwe katika kipao cha mbele kuwahimiza wenzetu ambao wametoka mpakani ili wawe hapa. Lakini pia Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka kuwahimiza wenzetu toka Pare ya kwamba siku nyingine mkikuja muje pia na vijana wachanga ili wenzetu ambao hawana mabibi waweze waweze kupata mabwana kutoka sehemu zingine ili Wapare waongezeke na wapate mabibi kutoka.
They are not hawking girls.
Asante sana.
They are looking for statehood. A person who is stranded and is looking for statehood cannot hawk women around. Member for Busia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all is to say poleni ndugu zetu kutoka kule coast. This issue has been there for a long time. They suffer what also our brothers and sisters who were married at the border face, proving many things. If you say you must prove if you are a Kenyan, and the only proof is that you gave birth, they want a certificate. Maybe you met in a bush, loved each other, made babies, and because many people in their lives don't go that other way of marriage processes, the only proof is kids. Public acknowledgement, the Ligrus, chiefs, they know these people, how they even started living together, their story, their history. So I want to thank the President for easing it.
Then members will have to stop there. I want to encourage you as members of parliament, as many of you, Junet, everybody has said, we must eliminate statelessness in our country. We must. There are people, even in Kabete here, there are Shonas who came to Kenya from Zimbabwe. They are stuck there stateless. They were given. That is very good. We must eliminate statelessness. And as African people, look at your history and remember, in the early 1900s, in Namibia, where Benja says he was an ambassador, I remember, the Germans gave a license to hunters, and the license read, you are free to shoot an elephant, a rhino, a lion, a buffalo, and a bushman. The bushmen are the hereros. They were licensed to shoot them on sight. The same thing that happened to other people elsewhere. We as Africans must love each other regardless. Whether an African found himself here from Senegal, or from Sudan, or from Ethiopia, or from anywhere, they're our brothers and sisters, and there is no right for them to be stateless. And as members of parliament, live to this billing. Young Bwire brought a petition. The petition committee should expedite it. And these Pare elders have the same right as any one of us to be in this country and to enjoy the benefits of citizenship. So Bwire, you have a duty, and parliament leadership. In fact, you should have a catalog of all stateless communities in the country, put them in one basket, and we encourage our president to accede to giving them citizenship all at once, so that we eliminate statelessness. The Rwandese who came to weed maize in Trans Nzoia, the Burundis who came to pluck tea in Kericho, the Nubians who came to Kenya to guard the British. They brought you Nubian gin, the forerunner to Changa, which many of you enjoy, and many other things. Let's call the next order.
Order number 8, motion, consideration of nominees to 31 National Government Constituencies Development Fund committees.
As I invite Sirma to move that motion, it's a very quick motion. Move second. I don't think there's much to debate there. I want to advise the House that order number 10 is stood down to tomorrow afternoon. I'll invite Honorable Junet to say something to that so that you understand why I'm stepping it down. Junet and Baya, I'll give you 2 minutes each. Then Sirma will move his motion. The county government's additional allocations bill is being stepped down on the understanding that you had in the morning, and as leaders you have a duty to tell the House. Yes, Junet, start. 2 minutes. Give Junet the mic.
Hello. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, members are aware, this has been a very contentious bill. And this morning, yesterday, after the matter quorum was raised by none other than myself, the Speaker called for a meeting at his office with the leadership of Parliament and we discussed the matter at length with the Speaker. And then he invited the Council of Governors to a meeting today, 8 in the morning, which was attended by all the leadership in Parliament, Honorable Baya, Honorable Mili, and Honorable Osoro, and other members, and the Budget Committee Chair. So the Council of Governors was represented in that meeting by their chairman and their legal, chairman of the legal committee, I think, Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr., and we discussed the matter at length, and there were compromises that were made that they should do, and on our side also we will do. And one of the issues that we agreed was that the matter that is in court, the matter that is pending in court, was, I think, coming up for judgment on 28th. So we agreed in the meeting that that judgment should be arrested, should be pended. In law, the Speaker advises me, it is called you stay the judgment, so that we can engage constructively on this matter of RMLF. And once that judgment is stayed, on our part also as a House, we now pass the bill. Because the bill does not contain RMLF also, it majorly contains donor-funded projects and those kind of things. So if a consent is filed in court between the two parties to stay the judgment, and that consent is filed in court, then we can pass the bill so that also the donor funding can go to the counties. So that is what we agreed this morning, and that is what is being implemented. And we hope that by end of business today, that should end. And then tomorrow now we can go back to business of the House and bring back the bill on the order paper. But my last issue, Mr. Speaker, is, Mr. Speaker, no one in the country, whether governors or any leadership or even the citizenry, should never think that this House is opposed to devolution. Mr. Speaker, this House supports devolution completely. And that is why every year we support the division of revenue bill. We have supported every county bill, every bill that concerns counties that has either originated from this House or from the Senate, Mr. Speaker. We support devolution completely because we know the intention of devolution is to make the lives of our citizens better, Mr. Speaker. The soul of this constitution is devolution, Mr. Speaker. Because there are counties that will not have received 1 billion shillings in their lives if devolution did not happen, Mr. Speaker. So nobody should send any notion that National Assembly is against devolution. We support devolution and we will make sure devolution thrives in our country, but we want to have the Constitution respected holistically so that the National Assembly can do their work, the Senate can do their work, and the counties can do their work so that we have a win-win situation for the country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you remember we used to have a tug of war with the Senate on issues of functions. Which house is upper, which house is lower, which functions belongs to this house, which functions belongs to that, to the Senate. Luckily, the senators on their own volition went to the court. They filed a case to nullify 23 statutes that was passed by this House, Mr. Speaker. And they went to the High Court. I think they lost in the High Court. They went to the Court of Appeal. They lost in the Court of Appeal. Then they went to the Supreme Court. And in the end, Supreme Court rendered a judgment 3 weeks ago. And it brought clarity that the functions of the Senate is this, and the function of the National Assembly, there is no ambiguity anymore. The issue of money bills have been sorted. The Supreme Court, in its own ruling, said that money bill is in the domain of the National Assembly. It cannot originate from the Senate. They have said any bill... It
cannot originate anywhere else.
It cannot originate anywhere else. My teacher is teaching me, who is the Speaker, other than the National Assembly.
Yes.
It is saying that bills concerning counties can originate from the National Assembly and can as well originate from the Senate, Mr. Speaker. It has also said national government CDF is not unconstitutional. It is constitutional. It is said that the National Assembly almost described the National Assembly as the upper house because of the powers that the Supreme Court has declared. It's not my own making. The ruling is in public. Mr.
It's
Speaker.
a judgment, not
It's
a ruling.
A judgment, yes. The judgment is in public. Anybody can access it. Anybody can read it. It's no longer secret. So, Mr. Speaker, even this county government issue can go to the Supreme Court. And I'm sure the Supreme Court will say that this is the position. So please, we want to develop our country. We want to support devolution. We want to support all institutions of this country to function in accordance with the Constitution. So nobody should badmouth the National Assembly. Nobody should say the National Assembly is doing anything wrong or it's an affront to the devolution, Mr. Speaker. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, that is the position of the National Assembly.
Owen.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for taking leadership in this matter, and also thank the leaders of the National Assembly, Junet, Millie, the Chairman of Budget, Osoro, and myself, who sat at that meeting in the morning, to actually come up with resolutions that take a firm position that everybody should respect their positions. One, Honorable Speaker, I want to reiterate the sentiments of the Honorable Junet. As a House, we support devolution, and we'll go out all our way to ensure that devolution works. But Honorable Speaker, that should not be used to twist the National Assembly. That, probably the National Assembly does not support devolution. We support devolution, but that should not be used to twist us. One of the things, Honorable Speaker, was that this case must be arrested. That's the word that was used, arrested, so that a judgment does not ensue, so that we can deal with the county, the bill that is before us. Yes. So, Honorable Speaker, what I would like to say is that as a House, we will stand very firm on this matter, such that the governors must respect the space of the National Assembly as we respect theirs, and ensure that what is due to members of the National Assembly, or what is due to the national government, remains in the national government, because the funds that they're fighting for are national government funds that are available to KERA and KURA. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, what I would like to reiterate the position. I know yesterday members felt very aggrieved, but I think the leadership of the House will protect the members of this House and ensure that what they will require as funds for roads will still remain there. Honorable Speaker, lastly, Honorable Speaker, I would like to say this, that the governors have for a long time tried to poke holes to get much more every time. And I think it's time that we rested this matter. We pass a law, they go to court. NGCF, they want to go to court. I think it's time that they stopped doing that to ensure that we have a smooth country and everybody remains on his lane and everybody does the functions that they have been given to do. We wish the governors well. When they get money, let them implement projects that help the constituents, the county. Allow national government also to do their work, so that all this put together, Honorable Speaker, takes our country forward. But I want to reiterate what the Honorable Junet said. And I want to say this. The letter that was published by Anyang' Nyong'o yesterday was in bad faith. Bad faith. And as a National Assembly, we condemn it, and it must remain condemned. And every governor there must take their position as it is and do their work instead of spending a lot of time trying to do things that are necessary. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Now, Musa Sirma, you can move the motion at Order 8.
Mr.
I don't want to open debate on it. They are your leaders. You should trust them. Kainan, let Musa Sirima move his motion.
Mr. Speaker,
take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I wish
take your seat.
to ask that I move that this House adopts the report of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee on its consideration of nominees to 31 constituencies committees laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, the 22nd of April, 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 43(4) of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act, Cap 414A, and paragraphs 5, 2, and 10 of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Regulations 2016, approves the list of nominees for appointment to the following 31 constituencies committees of the National Government Constituency Development Fund. Mr. Speaker,
The names of the constituencies are in the order paper. I do not need to read. And Mr. Speaker, I want to assure the members that the CS made good of his promise and the respect to the chair, because it is so important that funds are released to the constituencies before we go on recess, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I move this, Mr. Speaker, we want prudent use of these funds, which will make development in this country better. Mr. Speaker, without much ado, I beg to move that this House approves. And I want to ask Honorable Wangwe, the MP for Navakolo, to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by the great member for the chair. And my Honorable Speaker is just to emphasize on one point, which I would want to bring to your attention and the attention of the House. The Honorable Speaker, as we approve the names, the next stage is normally gazettement of the names. And colleagues, as we sit here today, most of the constituencies that so far have been approved are yet to be gazetted. Meaning, Honorable Speaker, it's a delay that is being caused on the gazettement side. Whoever is concerned, Honorable Speaker, whom I believe is the Attorney General, my request to you, Honorable Speaker, and the House, is that we come in, or you come in, Honorable Speaker, so that the Attorney General moves with the speed, gazettes the names, and let our constituents enjoy the funds that we have been pushing to get to the ground. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to second.
Member on his feet, take your seat. Is that Sunguya? Take your seat. Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that this House adopts the report of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee on its consideration of nominees to 31 constituencies committees laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 22nd April 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 43(4) of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act, Cap 414A, and paragraphs 5, 2, and 10 of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Regulations 2016, approves the list of nominees set out herein on the order paper for appointment to the following 31 constituencies committees of the National Government Constituency Development Fund. Do we put the question? Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that this House adopts the report of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee on its consideration of nominees to 31 constituency committees laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 22nd April 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 43(4) of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act, Cap 414A, and paragraphs 5, 2, and 10 of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Regulations 2016, approves the list of nominees set out in the order paper herein for appointment to the following 31 constituencies committees of the National Government Constituency Development Fund. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, the Social Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, second reading, resumption of debate.
My record shows, Carol Omondi, you had 7 minutes to wind up your speech or your contribution.
Yeah, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I did point out in the morning that the measure of poverty is what is called the food poverty line, which calculates what the nutritional requirements or food energy requirements are per person, and then it is weighed against the actual food expenditure of a household or a person, and then we put you either above or below the poverty line. According to Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, their study of 2022, the poverty rates are lowest in Nairobi at 16.5, and the highest at 82.7 in Turkana. The reason why I'm giving this background is so that we understand how to identify those we classify as needy. When I read this proposed bill, I'm a little worried that the classification may not be very scientific because we are using very general terms as persons in need, orphans, or vulnerable children.
Yes, there's a point of order from Honorable Atandi.
Honorable Speaker, this bill was moved yesterday, and this morning we have been discussing this bill, and most members are in agreement that this bill needs to be passed. I was going to urge you to ask the mover to just reply.
Honorable Atandi is out of order for the proponent of the bill to move closure of debate. Get another member to do so. You are legitimately right, but wrong procedure.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Sorry for that rude interruption. He wanted to oust.
Is in this bill, or is it moved by a leader of majority?
Yes.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong order. Anyway, let's allow Carolo Mondi to finish. Then we'll put it to the House. If you agree, then we call the mover to reply.
Honorable Speaker, so the categorization under Section 28 may not be very accurate. Somebody could be an orphan, but is not below the poverty line. You could be an old person, but you are not below the poverty line. You could be a person with disability, but you are not below the poverty line. So I think there's some very serious work we need to do here to avoid controversies in the future. Secondly, as a House, it would have been better to understand the full cost implication of implementing this bill and the social programs contemplated thereunder. You realize it talks about non-contributory universal social protection program. We don't know whether this will take 100 billion or 200 billion. I think as a House in the memorandum, the leader of majority should have informed us so that we could really debate from a position of knowledge. Because it is going to apply to everybody. And those who will be excluded can easily go to court and claim discrimination and basically derail the entire system. So I think we need to do additional work. And in any event, if we are talking about universal non-contributory universal protection program, already there are so many forms of social protection that exist. We have schemes by government where we give subsidized foodstuffs. Yeah, there are schemes where we waive fees or we give free medical care. We have community health workers who offer assistance and service to those in need. We have bursaries, we have free education in some components, and we have emergency funds, which are not included in this new proposal. And I'm wondering where all this will fit. I thought we should have a comprehensive bill that is dealing with social protection in all the spheres where government funds are being spent. But also, if you look at Section 31, Honorable Speaker, we are being told that the authority or the board that is being proposed to be established will conduct an assessment to verify whether applicants are eligible, or in other words, if they are in need and are eligible for protection. In a country where over 50% are below the poverty line, I mean, what kind of bureaucracy are we going to create that can assess all applications? Is this really practical? I'm just wondering how this monster will function, where you are being told in Turkana the poverty prevalence is 82.7% of the population. How many forms will they have, or what system will they have to help us do this assessment? Mr. Speaker, I understand very well that this is part of the conditionalities in our relationship with the World Bank, but I think it is better we do good work and improve on this bill so that we don't create a monster that will not work, will just create acrimony in society, and eventually will be a conduit for corruption. I think we really need to do a lot of work. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, I'll give Timothy Kipchumba as the last contributor. For Tim, you'll have 5 minutes. Then we can ask the House if we can call the mover to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the letter, the intent, and the purpose of this very progressive piece of legislation. Honorable Speaker, this bill collapses the Social Assistance Act. Actually, it says when it is passed, it repeals the Social Assistance Act, which, in my opinion, had a lot of loopholes. So, Honorable Speaker, these are very progressive piece of legislation that as a House we should be able to support. Honorable Speaker, this bill addresses the issue of second generation rights, that is social and economic rights. Honorable Speaker, those are rights that are provided for by the Constitution, and therefore we cannot ignore as a nation. Honorable Speaker, if you read clause 28.3 of this bill, it actually widens the scope of those who are entitled to social assistance and financial assistance at the age that they attain. Honorable Speaker, it expands that scope to include orphans and vulnerable children, poor old members of society, persons with disabilities, persons in extreme poverty, and persons affected by shocks. Honorable Speaker, that category of persons were not able to be assisted under the Social Assistance Act, which shall now be repealed once this progressive piece of legislation is passed. Honorable Speaker, apart from that, if you read clause 30 of this bill, it also includes a category, a very special category of non-Kenyan citizens in an emergency situation. Honorable Speaker, there has been a challenge on how to handle non-citizens who have an emergency in this country, and I believe that this bill, once it is passed, that category of people has been provided for and therefore will be subject to assistance. Honorable Speaker, of great importance is, if you look at part 4 on the issue of offenses, Honorable Speaker, for the first time, many vulnerable people have been conned or have been the subject of fraud by people who collect money on their behalf, pretending that they are the ones who are entitled to it. I've read, Honorable Speaker, clause 45 on the issue of fraud, which provides that any person who defrauds the board or conspires or aids or abets another person to defraud the board commits an offense and shall be subject, and on conviction shall be liable to a fine not exceeding 2 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years. Honorable Speaker, that provision was not there is not there under the current Social Assistance Act. So, Honorable Speaker, that is, for me, it is a progressive provision under this particular statute which will be able to assist or to curb the issue of fraud. Finally, Honorable Speaker, in terms of transition, under Part 6, there is a provision on repeal savings and transition provisions. Honorable Speaker, since we are repealing the Social Assistance Act and replacing with this the Social Protection Bill of 2015, it provides very clearly that any person who immediately before the coming into force of this act was an officer or member of staff of the Directorate of Social Assistance of the National Social Protection Secretariat, not being under a notice of dismissal or resignation, shall upon commencement of this act become an officer of the board. Honorable Speaker, many other times as a House that we've passed legislations that have ignored the issue of transition. Honorable Speaker, remember the issue of SHA. We passed a bill here, but we were not very clear on the issue of transition, such that officers from NHIF